Welcome to This Explainer. Sometimes sentences just feel a bit choppy, like you're stacking these basic, disconnected building blocks awkwardly on top of each other. Well, today, we're going to change that completely. We are mastering subordinating conjunctions. And honestly, these are the absolute ultimate tools for upgrading your writing from those simple, disjointed sentences into beautifully sophisticated B2 level structures. Let's get into it. Okay, let's take a quick look at our agenda for today. First, we'll meet the magic grammar glue. Then, we'll cover sentence structure and punctuation. After that, we'll explore the different types of subordinating conjunctions, learn how to dodge some common grammar mistakes, and finally, we'll put it all together. Section 1, meet the magic grammar glue. I want you to start thinking about your sentences kind of like architecture. And every good architect needs to know their basic building materials, right? So, here is our core definition. A subordinating conjunction is a word, or sometimes a short phrase, that acts as this magic glue. Its job is to connect an independent clause, which is a complete, sturdy sentence on its own, with a dependent clause, which is an incomplete sentence. These words are literally the adhesive that holds our foundational language blocks together and gives them deeper meaning. And this right here brilliantly illustrates exactly why we need this glue. Just look at the independent clause. She passed the exam. It's perfect. It stands completely on its own. But then look at the dependent clause below it. Because she studied hard. I mean, you can't just leave that hanging there. A dependent clause simply cannot stand alone. But when we use our magic glue to attach it to a strong independent block, we get a fully functional, complete sentence. She passed the exam because she studied hard. Section 2, sentence structure and punctuation. So, how do we actually apply this grammar glue without making a total mess? It really all boils down to a simple law of physics for sentences. Take a look at pattern 1. If the dependent block comes first, you absolutely must use a comma to balance the structure. For example, although it was cold, we went for a walk. But if we look at pattern 2, if the heavy independent block comes first, no comma is needed at all. We went for a walk, although it was cold. Because the independent clause is anchoring the sentence, the comma just isn't necessary. Section 3, types of subordinating conjunctions. First up in our toolkit, we have time and reason. We use time-based conjunctions like when, while, before, and as soon as to establish exactly when an action goes down. For cause and reason, we rely on words like because, since, and as. Actually, it's worth noting here that because provides the strongest, most direct reason for something, whereas since is typically used when the reason is already kind of known or obvious to whoever is listening. Next up, we have our tools for contrast and condition. Contrast tools like although, even though, and whereas are just fantastic for introducing unexpected or completely opposite ideas. On the flip side, condition tools like if, unless, and provided that set strict structural requirements. Basically, they tell us that one action simply cannot happen unless a very specific condition is met first. All right, let's round out this B2 toolkit. We use so that or in order that to clearly show purpose. Then we use so that to show a result or a consequence. Words like where and wherever obviously indicate place. And finally, phrases like as if and as though explain the manner in which something happens. Section 4. Dodging common grammar mistakes. Listen, even master builders make mistakes from time to time. Take a look at this first blunder. Although she was tired, but she continued working. Wait, what? If you say it out loud, you can instantly hear the absurdity of using two contrasting glues at the exact same time. It just overcomplicates the whole structure. The correct structurally sound way is simply, although she was tired, she continued working. And this leads us directly into a very similar mistake, the classic double glue blunder. Because it was raining, so we stayed inside. Nope. You see, the word because is already this massive load-bearing word. It is totally strong enough on its own without you needlessly throwing so into the mix. Just keep it simple and say, because it was raining, we stayed inside. Now, you've really got to keep your eyes peeled for the double negative failure. Unless you don't study, you will fail. Look, the word unless essentially translates to if not. So by adding the word don't, you're creating a highly confusing double negative. You want to keep your architecture clean, right? So it should just be unless you study, you will fail. And finally, I've got to warn you about the classic despite mistake. Despite cannot, under any circumstances, be immediately followed by a full clause with a subject and a verb. Despite it was raining completely crumbles structurally. You have to use a noun phrase, something like despite the rain, or you just switch your glue entirely and say, although it was raining.
Section 5. Putting it all together.
Okay, let's look at this fully constructed masterpiece. Just notice how seamlessly these conjunctions elevate the text. We start off with although to set up a nice contrast. Then because clearly states a reason. If steps in to establish a strict condition. So that perfectly illustrates a purpose, and even though wraps the whole thing up with a final really strong contrast. This isn't just some pile of simple sentences anymore. It's a flowing, professional B2 level paragraph. All right, let's kick off a rapid-fire quiz to test your structural knowledge. First up, blank. It was raining, we went hiking. Are we using although, and, or so? Take a second to think about it. If you said although, you nailed it. It provides the perfect contrast. Next one, I'll call you blank. I arrive. Can you identify the correct time-based glue for this sentence? Is it when, but, or yet? Yep, the answer is when. Let's turn up the heat just a little bit. You won't pass blank, you study. Challenge yourself to remember that condition rule we talked about earlier to lock in the perfect fit. Is it unless, and, or for? That's right, it's unless. Okay, how about this one? She worked hard, blank, she could achieve her goals. What conjunction best explains the specific purpose behind her incredibly hard work? Is it so that, but, or? You got it, it's so that. And our final inspection check, he stayed at home, blank, he was ill. We're looking for the strongest, most direct reason here. Is it because, yet, or nor? Absolutely, it is because. Fantastic job, grammar builders! Now that you intimately know the rules, the structures, and the pitfalls to avoid, I have a question for you. How are you going to use this magic grammar glue to completely transform your next piece of writing? Don't let your sentences just stand alone in the cold. Connect them, build them up into something spectacular, and just keep mastering your craft. I'll see you in the next explainer.